There's so many families in that street. I just can't imagine how I don't know.
I heard it and I thought it was just a rumor. I didn't want to believe it.
Tragedy in a central Phoenix neighborhood. 5 people found dead inside a home there, including 3 children. Our team has been on the scene all day tracking this developing story.
Yeah, Katie, I've been out here all day long along with Zach Crenshaw, and we've been talking with neighbors and pushing for answers from police. This scene struck early this morning here at 7th Avenue and Northern, and keep in mind, fire crews were not able to get into this home for hours to try to figure out exactly what happened. Meanwhile, neighbors are reacting, and they're absolutely shocked about this tragedy, learning for the very first time that an entire family was taken away from this neighborhood, a family that meant so much, not only to this neighborhood, but entire Phoenix community. Now, Phoenix police tell us that they got a call from a nanny earlier this morning who had arrived to work and saw a body and then smelled gas. Once they arrived, that hazmat team was called in to deal with the potential gas leak. By the time they were able to get inside this home, that's when they found the bodies of 5 people, 2 adults and 3 children. And neighbors tell us that includes 2 twin babies and a toddler. Public safety sources tell us that they are investigating this as a murder-suicide, and police say at this point no suspects are on the loose. Now, all day, Zach Crenshaw has been working the scene, gathering more details and working a lot of sources. And what you've learned is, again, as I mentioned, this family meant so much, not only to this neighborhood, but an entire Phoenix community.
Yeah, you know, she was a beloved youth soccer coach. Neighbors say he was always playing in the front yard with their toddler, who you mentioned there, a 3-year-old boy. So every single person I talked to today, Javier, said they had no indication that anything was going on inside that home, and they certainly never expected the tragedy that we're learning about today. All day we've seen neighbors hugging, friends sobbing, people dropping off flowers. Police have not identified this family because they tell us they're still working to notify all the relatives. So we are not going to name them either, but many in the Phoenix community already know and have rushed to this scene to unfortunately confirm their worst fears and also grieve together. We've seen a lot of people gathering in driveways, shaking their heads and breaking down. One next door neighbor watched as the family's nanny ran out this morning, as you mentioned, sobbing and seeing that horror inside. Many say they've been to this home themselves because just a few weeks ago, this family hosted a massive get-together.
Yeah, they had a party at their house for the whole neighborhood. They said, we're going to get together soon, and soon isn't here, so just make soon happen.
Yeah, that was that next door neighbor's message. She didn't want her face on camera, but she told me if there is anything she wants to say to the community, it's don't take the time with your neighbors for granted. And, certainly they knew there were, she said she thought there were some marital issues, but she said both the husband and the wife were incredibly, incredibly nice people and seemed like parents who loved their children. So police are still investigating here. As we've talked about, the homicide detectives couldn't get in there for hours because of the gas. We actually saw Phoenix Fire in the roof drill a hole through it with an axe so the gas could leak up. So a lot of questions remain, but as we mentioned, the chaplain and the Phoenix community response team have been out here helping this community grieve, but they said they're going to have to rely on each other to get through this.
It just doesn't make any sense, especially when you have children involved. All
No.
right. Thank you, Zach. We will continue covering this. Our ABC15 team has been on the scene all day long trying to gather more details, and we will continue to cover this both on air and online.